Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Money Garden. Today we are on our final step in our journey to discovering Think and Grow Rich. So just to review it for you guys, previously we had the first episode when we covered the book all over. We talked about the 13 principles, and then we broke it down. Then we covered principles 1 through 4. Then we covered principles 5 through 8. Then we covered principles 9 through 11. And today we're going to cover the last two, which are 12 and 13. And then we're going to do an overview of all the principles for you guys. And with that, we will wrap up the Think and Grow Rich. But again, just for those of you that are just tuning in, Think and Grow Rich is a book that was written in 1937 by Napolean Hill. Since then, it has been republished several times with different editions. So the reason I say that if some of you are just familiarizing yourselves with the book and you don't find this particular cover, you find different covers, you're still okay, because again, over time, they republished it and then they may have put different covers on it. However, the essence of the book and what it talks about, it's always the same and never really changes. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. And today I'm going to cover for you guys principles 12 and 13. So principle 12, it's called the brain, right? So some of you might ask, what is the brain has to do with success? Well, actually a lot, and probably it's the basis for pretty much everything that we do, right? So Napoleon Hill called the brain a broadcasting station for thought. And it really, when you think about it, it really is. In reality, even though since 1937 we have made so many discoveries about the brain and how it works and understanding the human psyche and all of that. However, I feel that still, and I believe many scientists would agree with me, that we are still just scratching the surface and understanding the brain, the human brain, and how it works, and more importantly, of its power. It is the most powerful organ in a human body. So we don't know a lot about the brain, but let's focus on what we do know about the brain. And we know this, that thought comes from the brain, and the thought really is the greatest intangible, right? Sometimes some of you may have heard that the greatest things in life are intangible, right? Love is intangible, you can't touch it, thought, emotion. But the greatest intangible is thought. Thought resides in the brain. However, the good news is that we control the thought. The subconscious, so here's kind of a feedback loop, if you will. The subconscious, it is believed that the subconscious feeds the information to the conscious, which is true. However, on a conscious level, the good news is that with the power of thought, we can feed the subconscious, if that makes sense. What does that mean? That means that we get to rewire. We get to rewire our beliefs. We get to challenge our beliefs. Sometimes we have beliefs that don't really serve us, right? I can't. I'm not capable. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not old enough. I'm too this, too that. Those are just beliefs that do not serve us. And the reality is that if we just challenge that, and then we challenge the thinking around it, we actually, with the power of thought, we can reprogram our subconscious, which later it will send different signals to the conscious and completely changes our beliefs, because we are what we believe we are. There is a famous quote by Henry Ford that said, if you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, either way, you're right. And that is so true. A man or a woman that is 100% convinced that he or she is not able or capable of doing something, no matter anybody could do or say, there's not going to change their life, their minds. But the good news is that the opposite is also true. That when someone really, really believes in something and they commit to it, there's no stopping them, and they really can achieve anything. So going back to the brain again, one thing I would invite you guys to remember about this chapter, that it is the broadcasting station for thought. Thought is the greatest intangible. Thought resides in the brain. We get to control our thoughts, And we get to feed the subconscious, which ultimately feeds the conscious, which ultimately defines our habits, our actions, therefore our results. So with that said, over here also talks a little bit about telepathy and the power of telepathy, but it goes into it more on principle number 13, which is the next chapter, which is chapter 13, that talks about the sixth sense. And this particular chapter, there's not much I can tell you guys about. You really need to read this chapter and really to understand it in its entirety and how it all ties into the principles of success. And when I say the sixth sense, I don't mean the movie. Napoleon Hill wrote about this way before the movie was made. But it's actually all creative imagination, all intuition, all gut feel, with the power of meditation, power of visualization. It all falls under this category, the sixth sense, which is ultimately the final principle, the 13th and final principle that for success of Napoleon Hill's 13 principles for success. So with that said, very quickly, I'm going to summarize for you guys all the 13 principles, and we will wrap it up for Think and Grow Rich. Number 1 is desire. Number 2 is faith. Number 3 is autosuggestion. Number 4 is specialized knowledge. Number 5 is imagination. Number 6 is organized planning. Number 7 is decision. Number 8 is persistence. Number 9 is the power of the mastermind. Number 10 is the mystery of sex transmutation. Number 11, the subconscious mind. Number 12, the brain. Number 13, the sixth sense. So with that said, I hope this brought you guys value. Highly recommend. Please read the book or listen to it on Audible. It's called Think and Grow Rich, and it will definitely change your life. And it will show you the blueprint to pretty much your goals, your dreams, and everything you desired. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, share. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always so glad to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys next time.